Okay, so there will be times when you're adding systems or subtracting systems of equations where nothing will cancel out even if you add or subtract. So the notes that we're going to be doing today are for these types of systems. So for example, if you look at example 1, if we were to add these together, nothing would cancel, and if we would subtract them, nothing would cancel. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to use multiplication to make it so that something cancels. So we're going to go through the steps and then we will look at some examples. So the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to multiply one of the equations by a number so that one variable has the opposite coefficients. And then you're going to solve the system using addition. So we are going to use the addition strategy, but there's a step we have to do before that. So on your note sheet, what you want to fill out as we go along is you're going to fill out multiply one of the equations and opposite coefficients and solve using addition. So like I said, as you go through, you're going to fill out these notes just like we would have done in class. Okay, so if we look at example 1, like I said, if you were just to add or subtract these, nothing would cancel out. So our first step is to multiply one of the equations by a number so that one variable has opposite coefficients. So you could choose either the x or y, but you want to choose something that would make it a little bit easier for you. So if you notice, the 2x and the negative x already have opposite signs, so you really just need the 2 here to make them totally opposite coefficients. So what we're going to do is we are going to multiply the second equation by 2 so that we have opposite coefficients. So remember, I put the parentheses here because we're using the distributive property, so you have to multiply everything in the equation by 2. So what this looks like is 2 times negative x will get us negative 2x. 2 times 3 will get us 6y, and you also have to do the other side of the equal sign. So equals 2 times negative 12, which is negative 24. So now if we were to rewrite both of these equations, so the first one we rewrite as is, and the second one we rewrite our new equation. So now we have opposite signs. So next we're going to add them together. And when we add them together, like I said, if you did this right, something should cancel out. So in this case, the 2x and the negative 2x cancel out. And then we do 1y plus 6y. Remember, there's a 1 here if there's nothing. So we get 7y equals negative 21. And from here on, this should be just like what we've been doing the past few days. Divide both sides by the coefficient, which is 7, and we get our y equals negative 3. So for the y equals negative 3, we then plug into one of the equations. Like I said, it doesn't matter which one you choose. I'm going to choose the first one. So instead of 2x plus y equals 3, we write 2x plus negative 3 because that's our y equals 3. And then we solve for x. So you'll add 3 to both sides. 2x equals 6. So our x is going to equal 3. And then our final step here is just to write it as a ordered pair. So our answer to this is 3 comma negative 3. So everything that we did on this slide is just like what we did with addition. The difference is going to be this first step where we have to multiply all of the things by 2. So that's going to be the difference. It's building on what we did the other day, but the rest of it should be the same. So I gave you space on the notes to check. I'm not going to have you check during this presentation, so I'm going to skip that. So we're just going to go right to example 2 and we'll do the check in class. So example 2 is where we're going to start, so you can flip to the next page and go to example 2. So for example 2, if you notice again, if we were just to add these together or subtract them, nothing would cancel. So another one where we're going to have to multiply one of the equations by a number to get an opposite coefficient. So for this one, the easiest thing is if you have a y by itself, it's going to be easier to multiply something to get an opposite for that, because if we wouldn't be able to multiply anything here for an opposite. So if we were to look at 2x plus y equals 5, to get an opposite of this, we would need this to be a negative 4. So we would multiply the whole equation by negative 4 so that the y has a negative 4 in front. So again, make sure that you put parentheses so that it's multiplying everything by negative 4. So what that looks like is negative 4 times 2x is negative 8x. Negative 4 times y is minus 4y equals negative 20. So again, now that we rewrote this by multiplying it by negative 4, if we have 3x plus 4y equals 30, the opposite are the 4s, so the 4y and the negative 4y. So in this case, now if we were to add it, the y's would cancel out. So next to it, you want to rewrite the top equation as is, and you want to rewrite the bottom equation with the new multiplication. So negative 8x minus 4y equals negative 20. And then, like I said, the next few steps should be just like what we have been doing, where you add them together, and when you add them together, you get negative 5x. The 4y minus 4y cancel out, and 30 plus a negative 20 is 10. And then we divide both sides by negative 5. We're going to have x equals negative 2. And then you take the negative 2 and plug it into one of the equations. So I did it to the first equation. So instead of 3 times x, we do 3 times negative 2. The rest is the same. And then when we start to solve, we have to do 3 times negative 2 and get negative 6. We add 6 to both sides. And then divide both sides by the equation by 4. And we get y equals 9. So our ordered pair is going to be negative 2, 9. So again, for this equation, for this example, we're going to skip the check. And we'll do that in class. And then for your homework assignment, your homework assignment is just to do 1 and 2 on the homework section. So in your packet, there's going to be a homework section like we normally have, so it'll be at the end. Your only homework is to do number 1 and to do number 2. So if you notice, both of these you're going to have to multiply the second equation by a number to get opposite coefficients, and then add like we have been doing to solve. So that will be your homework assignment.